bad news for fantasy players. Your friends have been preparing for drafts all summer, but lucky for you, they won't see this. Here are 5 guys your friends waste early round picks on. And we're starting with the second-year tight end, Kyle Pitts out of Atlanta. Now, right now, Kyle Pitts is going as the 3rd tight end off the board, only behind Mark Andrews, the tight end one last year, and Travis Kelce, who was basically the tight end one the previous 4 years. He is going as the 33rd overall player. Now, this is interesting because he's going between 10 and 12 picks earlier in most drafts than Darren Waller, despite Waller being more productive in the past and having a better offense. Now, that said, don't get it twisted, because Pitts was phenomenal as a rookie, and we know why he went as the 4th overall pick to Atlanta because of his track record in college, how dominant he was, the athletic freak that he was coming out at the combine, and a lot of this translated into his production as a rookie. He was 4th, the best we've ever seen for this type of volume from a rookie tight end in efficiency and yards per route run with 2.2. So there's no debating his talent, but here's the issue. Despite his efficiency and heavy volume, 110 targets, 5th in the league, Pitts still finished last year 11th in fantasy points, and there's 2 main reasons for this. First of all, he only scored 1 touchdown, and you can expect him to score more this year. However, last year, Atlanta was bottom 5 in the NFL in passing touchdowns as a team. They only had 20 total, and now their veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan, is gone. And now for reason number 2. Atlanta was a bottom 10 offense according to Pro Football Focus in 2021, and they were top 5 in 3 and outs. Very, very inefficient. They couldn't keep drives alive. And now they lost a top 12 efficiency receiver in Russell Gage from last year. They don't have Calvin Ridley, and the veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan, is gone. So beautiful people, here's your takeaway. There's a chance Pitts sees more volume this year, but you're going to have Drake London there, and you're going to have a brand new quarterback knowing the system in Marcus Mariota to get used to, not the veteran in Matt Ryan. So you can expect some inefficiencies to continue from last year. You could just find similar talents later on in the draft, and similar things can be said for this next wide receiver. And that's because CeeDee Lamb, a wide receiver, a talent that I love in the NFL, he is currently expected to have a massive year 3. And it makes sense. There's no Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup might miss 8 to 10 weeks this season, and then his biggest competition at wide receiver is a 3rd-round rookie in Jaylen Tolbert. Now, this is all great, but there's one big issue. Lamb is currently going as a top 13 pick in drafts, and he often goes in the 1st round, depending on the draft or the day, as a top 12 pick. So anything short of a top 5 wide receiver season is now a letdown. Let me explain. Lamb is coming off of the best year of his 2-year career. He saw more targets, more receptions, and much more yards in his sophomore season. But despite this success, he still ranked outside the top 30 receivers in target rate. And I know what you're thinking, but Amari Cooper was there. Yes, I understand that. But if he is going to be a 1st-round wide receiver, why did we not see him command more targets from an Amari Cooper last year? At least be top 20 in target rate like some rookie wide receivers were last year. So I believe that Lamb is talented and he could be a 1st-round wide receiver, but now he has to produce like that for him to even pay off for you. Here's another way to look at this. Lamb has yet to command targets at an ultra elite level like most 1st-round picks, like a Devontae Adams or a Stephon Diggs is up here, or even a Justin Jefferson in the 1st round. And because of that, I'd much rather have those proven players who still have primes left of their career, like a Devontae Adams in round 1. Now let's discuss why a popular 3rd-round wide receiver isn't worth it. And that man's name is Jaylen Waddle, who currently goes as a top 18 wide receiver in drafts. And as a rookie last year, he finished top 15 in the league. Him and Tua had a lovely connection. But now Tyreek Hill is a Dolphin. And Miami smacked this man with Dollarooskies. 4 years, $120 million, the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL this season for 2022. And because of this, you can expect him to operate as the #1 receiver in Miami. Now, here's why this is important. Last year, Jaylen Waddle led the Dolphins with 142 targets. That's how he became a top 15 wide receiver, which was actually 93% more than any other wide receiver on the team. Devontae Parker was 2nd with 73, dealt with some injuries, but nobody else was close. Even Mike Gesicki, 2nd on the team in total targets, still 30 plus behind Waddle. And this won't be the case with Tyreek in town. You're going to see these targets drop. And one more thing. Jaylen Waddle as a rookie was 42nd in wide receiver efficiency. This combines basically what he's doing downfield with his targets, what he's doing after the catch, how efficient he was, which isn't terrible for a rookie, but when you take that into consideration, it's not elite, and then you subtract a lot of targets, it's difficult to want to take this guy as a top 20 pick, a 3rd-round wide receiver. So I'd consider taking Deontay Johnson, who goes later than him in drafts, Terry McLaurin, or Cortland Sutton, who go around him in drafts. And I'd also think about passing on this early round running back, and that would be Nick Chubb, who is currently taken as a top 12 running back often in drafts. He interestingly goes ahead of James Conner, who scored 15% more points than him last year, and often goes ahead of Leonard Fournette, who was the #2 running back the final 10 weeks of his season last year. Now, it's important to point out this crucial fact about Nick Chubb. Simply put, Nick Chubb is incredible. He is likely the best pure rusher in football. Every single year, basically being top 5 in efficiency, yardage on the ground, but when it comes to fantasy, he lacks the ultimate cheat codes. And as I recently tweeted out, the fantasy cheat codes for running backs are 1, receptions or targets, either or. and a clear red zone role. And surprisingly, Chubb isn't elite in either category. Last year, he missed time, so the overall red zone touches aren't a fair indication at 42, but what is a fair indication is when he was in the game, he only saw 53% of the backfield touches in the red zone. Dearness Johnson and Kareem Hunt each saw at least 20%. And since Kareem Hunt, who by the way is a top 5 efficiency running back according to Pro Football Focus like the last 3 years, just like Nick Chubb, so he's fantastic. Since he joined the team, Chubb only averages 1.3 receptions per game. That's not what we're looking for in the second round. And not to mention, this year there's a chance that his quarterback is going to be Jacoby Brissett, who is not the greatest by any means, a clear downgrade. So Chubb has barely finished as a top 10 running back because of how great he was on the ground as a rusher, a top 5 efficient running back. But this is an issue because if his efficiency or his team's efficiency drops, doesn't get to the red zone, doesn't run as many plays this year, well then you could easily see Chubb, who goes as the running back 13, finishing outside the top 20 running backs. He relies so heavily on that rushing efficiency. And I currently have Nick Chubb about 6 spots behind the market. I have him as like a late 3rd round pick. He often goes in the 2nd round of drafts. And this is from my top 200. If you want my top 200 and all the tiers and the rankings and the wants and avoids list and a whole lot more, including a $20 Amazon gift card, all you got to do is secure the Supreme cheat sheet by clicking the link in the description and following these 2 simple steps. And if for some reason you don't like the sheet, I'll refund you $10 minimum deposit. So there you go, cost you nothing. And you can keep the $20 gift card. Free gift card. You could click the link in the description to take advantage of this limited time offer. So if Nick Chubb is a risky 2nd round pick, this wide receiver in Marquise Brown is a risky 3rd round pick. So Brown has been united with his college QB Kyler Murray, and last year in Baltimore he was top 10 in targets. But despite this, he didn't finish as a top 20 wide receiver in points per game. Now here's why this matters. Well, Brown goes as a borderline top 15 wide receiver as of today, going as the 16th wide receiver on average in Underdog drafts. And you may think he didn't pay off on his large top 10 volume because of Lamar Jackson last season. Well, quite simply, this would be incorrect. Let's discuss. Because last year, Lamar Jackson was top 8 in quarterback efficiency. He was solid last year. If anything, he just got unlucky from a touchdown rate standpoint and an injury. The issue more so has to do with Hollywood Brown ranking 47th 2 years ago and last year ranking 35th in yards per out round, outside the top 40 receivers. He's not that efficient, which means he relies on volume to succeed, but this is an issue because nobody on the Cardinals last year saw over a 20% target share, and that includes DeAndre Hopkins when he was healthy. Hopkins led the team with a 20% target share last year, but as you can see, it was a spread out offense. You had 5 guys, including a highly used tight end, seeing over 60 targets. And also, Antonio Wesley, who filled in for Hopkins last year, earned 32 targets in like his 4 starts, which is a healthy amount. So there's a lot of downsides here. He's joining a new team. The offense is all spread out. There's a lot of new components in and out of this roster, including Hopkins coming back week 7. I would consider taking any of these other wide receivers around him. Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, heck, even Jaylen Waddle, who we just said we don't want. I'd take him over Hollywood Brown. So these are players that your friends are wasting their early round picks on. And because of that, there are stud players who are falling in drafts. If you want to see who those players are, you can check out this video right here. And I have a feeling the 4th player on that list might surprise you. And by the way, 70% of you aren't subscribed. Fix that by hitting the subscribe button.